What is up, Ghoulie Nation? Mount Ghoulie here, back at you with episode 2 on how to book, and this time it's episode 2, how to book Bayley. Bayley has been one of a strange case in WWE. To me, this is just my opinion only. I think ever since Bayley been to the main roster, it's just been nothing but trial and error. And I think it's time from Bayley. They could have made Bayley the number one babyface in the company for the women's division. Now has become just a joke now. But it's my job to book the superstar and how to make them relevant again. We're gonna make Bayley potentially from being not noticed now to being the number one, at least number one heel. Yes, that's right, heel. We're gonna try to make Bayley a heel. So let's start. Let's sit back and relax. And now, episode 2, Bayley, to make Bayley heel. For Bayley, it's going to go from WrestleMania, this year's WrestleMania, all the way to next year's WrestleMania. So let's get this show on the road. We start off, I believe WWE is going to do this for a pre-show match. This will be probably Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Absolution. I think that the story here is that Bayley and Sasha can't get it together. They can't get it. Well, Bayley just seems that she can't trust Sasha. But, you know, Sasha begs and pleads with Bayley saying, look, I'm sorry if you feel that I'm not been a good friend, but right now I need this. I need you. I really need you to help me take down Absolution. So the match is set for WrestleMania this year. Absolution versus Bayley and Sasha. And to be honest, I will literally do this. Bayley and Sasha, they beat Absolution. Yes, they beat Absolution at WrestleMania. They get the job done to the point that Sasha hugs Bayley. Bayley gives Sasha a hug and smiles. So the next night on Raw, we see Paige in the ring getting angry, saying this was not how it was supposed to go. We want a rematch between Bayley and Sasha. Sasha and Bayley both come out. They accept the challenge, so we get the tag team match again from WrestleMania. Absolution versus Paige. Absolution versus Bayley and Sasha Banks. This time, it's totally different this time. And it looks like everything is going fine. Bayley and Sasha get it together. But when Sasha is in trouble, Bayley's trying to make the tag. But when Sasha is close to Bayley, Bayley just leaves the apron. And Sasha, with a shocked look on her face, it's telling Bayley, why would you do that? Here, tag me. Tag me. Tag me. Then out of nowhere, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, they do a double team on Sasha. 1, 2, 3. Absolution wins. Bayley goes back into the ring. Absolution is still there, and it looks like Bayley is looking at Absolution, but with a smile. She smiles at Paige, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville, and they all hug it out. So yes, Bayley is now a part of Absolution now. With that being said and done next, Paige says, you know what? I love it. Welcome to the club, Bayley. So the next week on Raw, Sasha Banks asks Bayley, why would you betray me like that? Why would you join Absolution? It makes no sense. Like this, they are the opposite of what you are. Then Absolution comes out, all 4 of them, Paige, Bayley, Sasha, well, not Sasha, Paige, Bayley, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose. They all come out. Bayley says her piece saying, you know, to be honest, Sasha, you really weren't a real friend to me from the get-go. Every time when you needed, and here's the key word, you needed me, but at the time, I always needed you. But where were you at the Royal Rumble? Where were you at Elimination Chamber? It was always about you, Sasha, always about you. And now I have real friends now, true friends. So they go out to the ring. They beat the hell out of Sasha. Sasha gets some backup in the form of, let's say, Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke, because why the hell not? They need to do something. So the next pay-per-view will probably be, since WWE is going to combine the pay-per-views, and I think it's going to be Backlash. The main event for Backlash, well, not the main event for Backlash, but there's a 6 women's tag team match, Absolution of Bayley, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville, with Paige taking on Sasha Banks, Dana Brooke, and Alicia Fox. Absolution gets the pinfall victory here. The next night on Raw, Paige is so happy. Absolution is celebrating. They're celebrating with Paige. They celebrate. All of them are celebrating until Bayley grabs the microphone and say, "You know what, Paige? All of this would have not been possible if it wasn't for you. You are just simply wonderful for this absolution." And I think we can have another positive solution. So they tell Paige to close her eyes, and when Paige opens them, she finds that Bayley has a very determined look on her face. Sonya Deville has a determined look on her face, and Mandy Rose has a determined look on her face. And then they attack Paige. Now, I know Paige is injured and Paige can't really do much. What I would do is have them literally just attack, they could take Paige down and probably attack Paige from the leg. Do not hit Paige in the back or the neck, because it's a possibility she could get injured or probably worse. So I think Bayley, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose attack Paige, so we can kick Paige off of WWE television, so she can have a successful surgery and possibly come back into the ring. But if that be the case, Bayley picks up a microphone and said, this was an absolution, but now the solution is, Paige, you're not the solution. You are out of a solution. I don't know, because it's WWE and their crappy writing. So next week on Raw, it's now going to be determined that Bayley, now the new leader of Absolution, says that I came to WWE to please all of you people, and all that I've done, what have it done to me? I've been stabbed in the back by my so-called used to be best friend, and now I found two friends who I can really trust behind. And the only way for that to be considered, I will have to become the next Raw Women's Champion. So Sasha Banks come out and says, "Bayley, I can't believe you would do this to me. You think it's all that?" So basically, the next pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, Bayley, the whole Absolution versus Sasha Banks in a elimination match. The only way for Sasha to win, she has to eliminate all of Absolution, which she does. She eliminates Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, but they don't leave the ring. They just attack Sasha, and then out of nowhere, Sasha loses. Bayley pins Sasha with a new finisher. We're not gonna give Bayley that Bayley to Bayley. Probably maybe a fisherman styles suplex or something like that, or a fisherman DDT, or a fisherman brains buster, basically, to give Bayley a new finisher. So I think also in Extreme Rules, you can do Alexa versus Nia Jax to end that feud, and Nia Jax winning is still the Raw Women's Champion. So the next night on Raw, after Elimination Chamber, Kurt Angle makes a fatal 4-way for the Raw Women's Championship. Those consistent of Bayley, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, and let's just say maybe Mickie James, because why the hell not? Bayley, with the help of Absolution, she pins Mickie James, and Absolution takes by Absolution just keep at bay Sasha Banks, and I guess you can do a pre-show where Sasha Banks and I guess Mickie James take on Absolution. But at the same time, Bayley will face off against Nia Jax at the next pay-per-view, which would probably be Money in the Bank. And the card is this: Bayley defeats Nia Jax and becomes the two-time Raw Women's Champion, or 3, I could be wrong, Raw Women's Champion. She beats Nia Jax with the help of Absolution. The next night on Raw, Nia Jax is in a fury of rage, calls out the whole entire Absolution, and mostly Bayley, say, "I want my title back. I want everything back." So Bayley saying, I don't know. Let's see if you can beat Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose in a handicap match. So with that being said, Nia does beat him, and Nia does earn her shot at maybe Battleground is the next pay-per-view, and that card is this, but this time it's a lumberjack match to make sure that Absolution doesn't really get involved, that Mandy and Sonya Deville don't really get involved. So somehow, some way, after all of it, I think what you would do is Mandy Rose, slides the Raw Women's Championship to Bayley. Bayley hits Nia in the head. Nia won't go down. She hits Nia again with the belt to the face. Nia still won't go down. And the third and final time, I think Bayley will climb the top rope, hit Nia Jax with the title while in the air, and 1, 2, 3, Bayley is still the Raw Women's Champion. So, with that being said, Kurt Angle says, like this, Bayley needs a new number one contender. So he makes a triple threat match between Sasha Banks, Bayley. Sasha Banks. I really can't talk. Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, and Alexa Bliss. So Sasha Banks easily wins. She becomes a new number one contender for SummerSlam. Bayley gets up and says, "Congratulations, Sasha. You're now the new number one contender." It's going to feel really good to defend this title against you. I can finally get all of my frustrations out of you. I am going to show you that I am not a quitter. I am going to show the whole world that Sasha Banks is not the boss that she seems to be. So Kurt Angle comes out and says, "Well, Bayley, if you say that you're not a quitter and Sasha's not a quitter, well, the match at SummerSlam will be an I Quit match. Bayley will defend her title at SummerSlam against Sasha Banks in an I Quit match." Now we get to but before we get to SummerSlam, of course, Absolution will try to get involved, but Kurt Angle says this: Absolution will be banned from ringside. But however, if Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville wins their separate matches against Sasha Banks in the coming weeks of SummerSlam, they will be at ringside. Of course, the 1 week Sasha will beat Sonya Deville, and the second week she'll beat Mandy Rose. So it's now completely one-on-one. Absolution is banned from ringside. So it's basically going to be one-on-one between Sasha and Bayley. But before we get to it, we'll go to the pre-show of SummerSlam, and then who do we see? We see Sasha Banks getting ready, but then out of nowhere in Sasha Banks' locker room, she's greeted by a visit by Vicky Guerrero and Vicky Guerrero's daughter. And they're telling her, wishing her good luck. They'll be at the front row cheering on Sasha Banks. But also Sasha Banks gets another surprise. And it's none other than Bayley's number one fan, Izzy. Now, if you don't know who Izzy is, she's like a little girl who basically dressed like Bayley. They call her the Bayley girl. She's a number one fan of Bayley. I think her mother are there to, to basically, Izzy just wanted to talk to Sasha, saying, "I don't believe that Bayley has really, really changed. I don't know why Bayley does what she does." She's just telling Sasha to promise that, she's still a fan of Bayley. Is just don't really hurt. Well, just see if you could stop the violence not stop the violence, but just try to get Bayley back to her senses. Sasha says, "I make that promise," but I don't know if Bayley doesn't want to be changed. It's just like Sasha's basically telling Izzy what she could do, but, trying to promise to the kid, but she, it's like, when you're trying to sweet talk a little kid, basically. So now we get to the match. It's Bayley versus Sasha I Quit at SummerSlam match. The match goes for at least maybe 20 minutes until Bayley is starting to get the upper hand, and she actually hits Sasha Banks with a kendo stick to the back and just starts wailing on Sasha. All throughout the match, Sasha has the advantage, but Bayley starts having all the momentum and keep on telling Sasha, "Do you quit, Sasha? Sasha, do you give up? Sasha, do you give up?" Sasha Banks says no. Bayley's getting frustrated till we get to that point in the middle of the the almost ending of the match, where Bayley just literally attacks attacks the back and just brutalizes the back to the point she uses her finisher, the fisherman's like a fisherman suplex or DDT. Like, you know how Shane Douglas had like the Pittsburgh plunge. She hits Sasha on it, but Sasha lands on the chair back first. And Bayley says, like, there's all of this pain, Sasha. Do you quit? Do you surrender? Sasha says no. Bayley loses it and starts going on a rampage and saying, you know what? I said on my Twitter account that I was going to do 3 things, Sasha. I was going to make you quit. I was going to break your spirit. And third, I'm going to break your heart. And if it seems like hurting you physically won't break you, then maybe mentally, when I attack your favorite wrestler and his entire family. Bayley looks to the crowd and she sees Vicky Guerrero and Vicky's daughter. She literally goes to outside the ring, grabs Vicky. The daughter tries to attack Bayley, but Bayley easily forearms her and brings her into off from the barricade, brings Vicky off to the barricade. Bayley attacks Vicky Guerrero and Vicky's daughter, Eddie's daughter, and telling Sasha, do you give up? Do you give up? But in the meantime, before this all happens, Bayley basically gets a pair of handcuffs and just handcuffs Sasha Banks right into like to the ring, right in front of the outside of the, like in the corner of the ring, to the corner of the ring, just like basically both hands are right on the post and her legs are basically taped. She can't move. Sasha is being forced to watch her favorite wrestler, which her favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero, watching her wife and watching his wife and his child being decimated right in front of her in the ring by Bayley. Bayley hits them with kendo, well, not hit Vicky with a kendo stick, but just literally just tortures, hurts Vicky Guerrero and hurts Vicky's daughter at the process with that being done. Next, Bayley asks Sasha, see, it's all in your hands, Sasha. You made me hurt the Guerrero family, and it's going to be on your head when I destroy the Guerrero family. Do you give up? Sasha says no, and as soon as Bayley starts to lose it, she has Sasha right in the corner, and she's about to lay the final blow onto Sasha by hitting Sasha in the head with the kendo stick. But out of nowhere, here comes Izzy. She leaps from the barricade. Her mother tries to grab her. She gets into the ring, and she gets into the middle where Bayley was about to swing and hit Sasha. But Bayley stops. She looks at Izzy, and Izzy tells Bayley, please do not hurt Sasha. Don't hurt your best friend. Bayley looks at Izzy and then looks at Sasha and just tells Sasha, you see what you did? You just turned my #1 fan against me. So Bayley, Izzy's mother comes in the ring, try to grab Izzy, but out of nowhere, bam! Bayley hits Izzy's mother with the kendo stick to the abdomen, to the stomach, and now Izzy is crying. Basically, she's crying. Because she just saw her mother get hit with a kendo stick. She is crying her eyes out to the point where Bayley just loses it and says, like, does Sasha say I quit, or I promise you what I'm going to do now will all be on your head. Sasha is shocked at what Bayley has done, to the point Sasha is like shocked. She really can't. She's speechless. She doesn't know what to say. So Bayley says, okay, you won't quit? I'll make you quit. Bam! Bayley starts wailing on Izzy's mother. Vicky Guerrero, all of them right in front of Sasha. Sasha is is crying her eyes out. Makeup is all smeared. Sasha is just crying and crying and crying and crying and crying and crying, begging Bayley to stop until one hard hit. I don't think Bayley would actually hit Izzy's mom really, really hard, but it's just one hit to the back on Izzy's mother was enough. Sasha tells Bayley, tells the referee, I quit. Bayley, I quit. Would you please stop hitting Izzy, Vicky's daughter? Would you please stop? I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I'm sorry. Bayley, please, I quit. The match is over. Bayley grabs the microphone and says, Bayley just smiles with her Raw Women's title and smiles and looks at Sasha and looks at all the damage she's done. And it looks like she's about to leave the ring. But no. EMTs and stuff come out. But no, Bayley heaves them at bay. And Bayley grabs another kendo stick and actually does hit Sasha right on the head with the kendo stick. Sasha still hurting from her back wounds from the kendo stick and every type of weapon that Bayley has hit her with. So, Bayley unhooks. Bayley just basically grabs a microphone while Sasha's out cold and saying, I said I was going to do 3 things tonight. I made Sasha say I quit. I think I've broken Sasha mentally and spiritually, and now I break her heart. What Bayley does, she unhooks Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks starting to come to. She's on her hands and knees because she really can't get up. Bayley grabs a steel chair and just whams, hits Sasha right in the back so hard to the point from the back to the around to the upper back to the neck with the steel chair, and completely Sasha Banks is completely KO'd. And as soon as Bayley is about to leave, she looks at Izzy. Izzy's still crying. She grabs Izzy, takes the former headband off of the headband that Bayley gave her, and probably one of the NXT shows, and grabs one of Sasha's shades and puts it on Izzy's face. Izzy's still crying, still in shock that what she just saw her former her former favorite wrestler done. Bayley grabs the microphone and tells Sasha Banks, and I quote, "You can have this little brat as your #1 fan now. I don't need it. I don't need her supporting me now." Drops the mic. The EMTs are rushed in right now. They don't know what to think. They all look at Bayley. Bayley walks out of SummerSlam with her Raw Women's title. But at backstage, everybody in the whole women's locker room is looking at Bayley with anger and disgust. We're talking from Naomi, Becky Lynch, Lana, Tamina, Carmella. We're talking about Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, damn near every woman in the locker room, until Bayley looks at them all. And then when she looks forward, she sees Charlotte. Charlotte basically says, and I quote, "You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be absolutely ashamed for what you just did out there. You don't deserve to be Raw Women's Champion. Hell, after this, you don't even deserve to be in the WWE for your actions." Bayley just looks at Sasha. Now Bayley just looks at Charlotte up and down and smiles and just walks off. Then we see Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Bayley looks at them and says, "Let's go." Sonya Deville easily walks with Bayley, but Mandy Rose just looks back at the destruction at what Bayley's done, but at the same time is so shocked at what Bayley did. She does follow, but as for the rest of the women, they all go out to help Vicky. They all go to help Izzy and her mother and everybody else, because carnage ensues. Sasha Banks is left on the stretcher, and we won't see Sasha Banks for a while now. I would probably write this now to have Sasha out of this rivalry for now. So, that's all I got for part 1. Part 2 will really, really shock you guys. So, let me know how I'm doing so far with Bayley. So, leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and if there's more ideas, let me know what you guys got. But I'm telling you, part 2 is really going to shock you guys. I am Mount Gooley. I'll see you for part 2 of How to Book Bayley.